So in this presentation, I would like to share this table of contents which are going to be discussing this further. So I will give a brief introduction about the what's electric vehicle and what are the major components in the electric vehicle and the types of batteries we are going to be using present in electric vehicle and how to select this the selection of the electric vehicle for the electric vehicle. And in the end, we will see the what is the battery management. In that detail, we will see in detail what is the battery management.
Srinivas, I'm sorry to interfere, but your voice is not very clear actually.
1 minute. In the end, we will see the in detail about the what is the battery management and why do we need this cell balancing, what are the active balancing methods, and what are the passive balancing methods, and in brief about the thermal management in the electric vehicle also. Then followed by the what are the jobs are available in the market and opportunities for the freshers and the experienced persons and technically. And in the finally, we discuss. I will give the answer. I will try to give your answers. So first, let's see that why we need electric vehicle. So just not only the zero emission. So this carbon emission is happening due to just only when the vehicle is running on the road. No, this happened due to the this emission is happened due to the contribution of different types of sectors. First one, this transportation is the highest carbon emission sector, which contributing the 28% of the carbon emission in the atmosphere. Right. So this emission is not only happened due to the when the vehicle is running on the road. This emission is also included when the vehicles are manufactured and disposed. And to run this vehicle, we require the fossil fuels. The fossil fuels are maybe diesel or petrol. Let's see then small comparison. How much of this carbon emission is contributing from the different sector and how much is going to contribute. Let's go for the first. You can see this graph here. First, you can take the conventional vehicle. If you see this conventional vehicle, so first one is any vehicle. First, we are required to manufacture. During this manufacturing process, it's nearly emitting the 50 grams per kilometer of the carbon emission. So, then after completing this life cycle, we need to dispose of these batteries. So this vehicle, when we are disposing these vehicles, there is also it's emitting so many carbon emissions. And so to run this vehicle, we require the fuel. So this fuel will directly not adjusting in the nature. We need to separate from the different types of crude oil. So during this process, when we are separating the diesel or petrol from the crude oil, it's emitting lots of carbon emission. This also contributing nearly 30 grams per kilometer of the carbon emission. So if you go for the petrol vehicle, you can see this from this graph. So during this process, if you use any conventional electric vehicle, so this conventional vehicle also is not only just on road is going to be emitting the carbon. So during the manufacturing process and during the disposal process also, it's going to be emitting the carbon. Then we need some parts we are going to be burning, these tires or some other parts also going to be, we cannot completely destroy it. So this also going to be producing some carbon emission. And to run this conventional electric vehicle, we require the fuels. These fuels directly not adjusting in our atmosphere. It's not available in the air. So these fuels we are extracting from the crude oil. When we are extracting from this crude oil, so our diesel or petrol, some other oil, it's also producing so much of carbon emission. That is also going to be contributing to the atmosphere. And when these vehicles are going to be running on the road, so we all know that when the vehicles are running on the road, it's producing so much of pollution. This is happening for this one. So let's see what the statistics is say. So if you go for the conventional vehicle, so during the manufacturing and disposal, it's nearly contributing the 50 grams per kilometer of the carbon emission. And during the fuel production for the petrol or for the diesel, it's nearly contributing the 30% of the 30 grams per kilometer. And for the petrol vehicles, so when these vehicles are running on the road, it's nearly contributing the 160 grams per kilometer of the carbon. And similarly for the diesel vehicle is going to be emitting the 130 grams per kilometer. So in order to reduce this one, we can go for the electric vehicle. So during the if you use the electric vehicle, so we can reduce this carbon emission on road for the diesel or petrol vehicle, but we cannot reduce the manufacturing or the disposal of the vehicle carbon emission. And to run this electric vehicle, we require the electricity. So this electricity also not available in nature. We need to create this electricity. So there is a different kinds of possibilities to there to generate this electricity. So most of the known world technique is using the conventional electric vehicle is thermal power station. This is where we are going to burning the lots of coal. This coal, if you go for the some carbon emission calculation purpose, so it's nearly 130 grams per kilometer of the carbon emission is going to be contributing due to this thermal electricity. So in order to reduce this one, so we can go for the mixing with some renewable energy and the conventional energy sources. So we can reduce this some amount of the carbon emission due to the electricity generation, but it's not completely reduced. Then in order to reduce more, we can generate this power completely by using the renewable energy sources. But during this process also, when we are manufacturing these renewable energy sources, so there also we required some components, and so solar cells or windmills. During this manufacture also we required some. It's also emitting some carbon. So we cannot completely make it zero of this carbon emission. We can reduce it, but not completely zero. So we can see one small example. What is the impact of this carbon emission in the global? This picture is very well known. I think so many people are already saw in the Google or somewhere. So this first picture, the left hand side of this picture taken on the November 19, 2019, when the Delhi is completely open. And then one disaster has happened in the entire world, that is the COVID-19. During this COVID-19, the government or Indian government and Delhi government all are going to be given the instruction that this completely locked down the industry and the vehicles. So when there is no vehicle on the road and all the industries are going to be completely closed, you can see this, how much clearly we can see the sky. So this much of pollution is happened due to the vehicles and industries. So what we can do? So as we saw in the first slide there, we cannot completely make it zero, this carbon emission, but we can reduce. So by replacing this conventional IC engine vehicle with electric vehicle, we can reduce this carbon emission. But whenever you go for any new thing, so suppose we are going to be doing any new thing, so what we will do, we will compare what is the existing thing. So similar way, in electric vehicle also, before going to we are purchasing, definitely we will think that what is the benefit. So we have already well established conventional vehicle sector. Then why we go for the electric vehicle? So first point coming in our mind is price. So in India, only 20 to 30% people can able to purchase the vehicles. So in that also, if you go for the electric vehicle, this electric vehicle is the main problem is its cost. Compared to this conventional IC engine vehicle, this electric vehicle cost is nearly 20 to 40 to 50% of more cost. Okay. So this slowly is reducing when all the people are going to manufacture only electric vehicles. But as of now, the price of this electric vehicle is more compared to the conventional IC engine vehicles. And second point is running and maintenance cost. So the running cost of the electric vehicle is very less compared to the IC engine vehicles. Why? Because it does not require the continuously changing its oil change. Okay. And one more thing is the exception of tax. In the state government and central government both are right now they are providing the road tax free for the electric vehicle for first 10 years of the registration. But the one is a disadvantage of this electric vehicle is if we require any repair or service, we cannot go for any normal garage because the person is only the mechanical things he can open and it will be check your whether vehicle you have problem. But this thing we cannot do with the electric vehicle. Why? Because there is a high voltage and high current battery we are going to be using inside this vehicle. So there may be a chances of the blasting the battery or maybe short circuiting some wires. So for this electric vehicle, we require the well-trained persons to do any kind of service and repairs. So this may be costing more. And the insurance of the electric vehicle compared to the IC engine vehicle is more present. And as of so many people are given in the chat box the answer, so we can reduce this pollution of the carbon emission and energy efficiency. If you see that the electric vehicle have more efficient than the conventional IC engine vehicle, I will show in the next slide how this efficiency is going to be increasing more compared to the conventional IC engine vehicle. And sound pollution, as we know that in the electric vehicle, we are using the BLDC motor and PMSM motor, which is producing the less sound compared to the other vehicle. Okay. So let's see this, how we are getting the more efficiency. This is a well-known concept. It's called the well-to-wheel efficiency. The well-to-wheel efficiency is nothing but, so from generation to utilization, how much of energy we are utilizing and how much of energy is going to be wasted. If you see here, the first one, so from well to, when if you use electric vehicle, we require the power, right? In this power, we are generating from the different kinds of generations, maybe thermal, hydel, or any renewable energy sources. There it's going to be near 33% of efficiencies we are getting. And the transmission, we are getting 91%. Here, if we go for the, before is going to begin the electric vehicle, we are using the charging station. Here you get 31%. So when this power is reaching to the electric vehicle, if you go for, let example is a plug it to the vehicle, plug-in electric vehicle. So inside the motor, converter, all those things, after the losses, we are getting the nearly 23% of the efficiency. From well to wheel, we are finally getting the 23% of the efficiency. If you go for the conventional IC engine vehicle, where we require first refining this crude oils, then we need to transport it to the some petrol bunks. From petrol bunk to, we are getting on the vehicle. On the vehicle, when you are running this vehicle on the road, so there is so many losses will be there inside, right? After the complete losses, we are getting the nearly 13% of the efficiency. So if you compare this both electric vehicle and the conventional IC engine vehicle, we are getting nearly 10% more efficient than the conventional vehicle. Okay. Let's see whether it's profitable or not. Let's see one with small example which are existing in the market. Let's take here I'm taking here the Mahindra Verito. It's a petrol car. Its mileage is nearly 15 kilometers per liter, right? So at present in the market, nearly the petrol price is varying between the 95 to 105. Let's take an average of 100 rupees per liter. I want to travel the 60 kilometer. So how much it will cost? So 15 kilometers is given the mileage. So I want to travel for the 60. So per cost is 100. So 15 into 4, it will get the 60 kilometer. Right? To travel the 60 kilometer, we require the 4 liters of the petrol. So 4 liters into 100 rupees. So it will cost 400 rupees. Same Mahindra is also manufacturing the Mahindra E2O. So which mileage is nearly for 10 units per kilometer, right? So cost of the electricity is varying from state to state. Somewhere is a 3 rupees, somewhere is 6 rupees. So on average, we can take the 4 rupees per unit of cost. So if you take the 4 units per cost, if you are traveling with the 10 kilometers, so 60 kilometers required multiplied 60, then you will get the nearly 40 rupees per 60 kilometer drive. So see this, nearly 100%, 100 times we are spending more money on the petrol. Okay, but to run this electric vehicle, we require the power, right? So how much of power we can able to generate in India? So in the present, so India's own consumption is 1037 billion kilowatt hours. If you go for the per capita value, so 823.91 kilowatt hours per capita. And how much we are producing? We are producing the 1386 billion kilowatt. And if you go for per capita is a 1400.34 kilowatt per capita. And how much in this also we are going to be sending this power to the small countries like Bhutan and some small countries near to the India. We are exporting this energy to the other countries. There is a 5.62 billion kilowatt of power we are going to be exporting, and we are importing, and we are exporting 5.15 billion kilowatts to the other countries. Okay. This total, if you go for in some detail more, so as I shown in the first slide, there we have 2 types of energy sources in India. One is the conventional energy sources, other one is the renewable energy sources. With the renewable energy sources, so we can reduce this power, the carbon emission, which is generating by the conventional energy sources. Let's go for some more details in this one. So if you can see here in the first this chart, pie chart. So these are major power generation capacity as of on 2020, right? So we are generating the nearly 55% of the power generation from the thermal only still now, and 0.1% we are generating from the diesel generation, and hydropower generation we are generating the nearly 12%. That is a 45,699 megawatts of power we are generating from the hydropower station, and from the gas we are generating the nearly 7% of this power, and from renewable energy sources this is approximately 24%, and 2% from the nuclear energy. Right. So we need to replace more energy. So we require more power. So because Indian population is nearly 1.5 crore people, if at least if you divide with families also, you'll get nearly 50 crore. So for 50 crore people, if you use everyone use at least one vehicle, you require lots of power. So this is capable or not, we need to see. So we cannot generate we cannot increase the some of the things like a hydel power station. This we require the water and the lakes are those. So which is not possible. So one of the major possibilities increase the renewable energy sources. So at present, as of now 2020, so we are generating the 124.5 megawatt of the power from the wind energy, and 36,050.74 megawatts of solar power, and from the biopower we are generating the 10,145.92 megawatt, and small hydropower station 1,739.11 megawatt, and waste power. So this is a new concept is using so many recent research tech sector, that is a waste to power. There we are generating the 168.64 megawatt of power. So where we are in the global market, so in the electric vehicle. So from 2010 to 2019, if you are comparing in the worldwide, so these are the different kinds of different colors are indicating the different types of vehicle. Power plug-in vehicles, pure battery electric vehicles, right? So this is from 2010. There is approximately nearly in the millions. So nearly only 10,000 or 5,000 vehicles are being produced in the global wise. So it's slowly increased in the 2011. It's nearly 6 to 10,000. We got the total vehicles, and in 2012 it's increasing more. Now by 2019. As per statistics, we are nearly 4.5 billions of 7.2 billion millions of the electric vehicle in the globally. So we go for the how much of vehicles where we are in India. Where is this position of the India? As of now, in the January to December 2020, so the number of sales registered in the India is you can see here the 1,19,584 units are registered only during the January to December 2020. In this one, main contribution is 26% of the vehicle is registered in the Uttar Pradesh, and 10% in Bihar, and 10% in Bengal, 9% from the 8% from the Karnataka, Assam is 7%, Maharashtra 6%, and Tamil Nadu 5%, Rajasthan 5%, and other states are nearly 14%. So if you go for the individual again, this one, so this two-wheelers. So this electric sector vehicles is not only a four-wheeler or any heavy vehicles. These electric vehicles are divided into different sectors like a two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers and heavy vehicles. If you go for if you are comparing from the 2017 to 2020, the number of electric vehicle two-wheelers, this first slide indicating the number of units sold by the two-wheelers vehicles sold in the from 2017 to 2020. If you can observe here, in the 2017 is nearly just only 500 to 600 two-wheelers are sold. But when coming to the 2019, 18, so it's nearly 15,000 of the two-wheelers are sold. In the 2019, before this corona, almost the 30,000 of the units are sold in the by these companies. Here I'm looking only for the small, big companies only. I've shown here the statistics. Some other small companies and startup companies also they are going to manufacturing. That is also contributing in the two-wheeler sector. But after the lockdown, the two-wheeler sector is going to be a little bit down. So 11% of this two-wheeler sales is going to be reduced. In a similar way, there is a three-wheelers. In the three-wheelers, there is a two sector. One is called the passenger type. Another one is the cargo type. So in this passenger type vehicles are more electric vehicles are they are using instead of very less cargo types of vehicles are sold. So if you go for the In 2017, nearly 8,000 of this passenger type three-wheelers are sold. And this is increased 31% in the 2018. And by the 2019, that compared to the 19, the 20% of the vehicles are sold in the 2019. And after the corona, this again, this also three-wheeler sector also be reduced by 33%. And if you go for the overall EV sector registration from the 17 to 20, so from 17 to 20, it is increased 50% of the sold units are sold. But in again in the 1990 also it's contributed plus 23%. But after the corona, it's reduced overall by 26%. This is about the brief about the what is the electric vehicle, why we need electric vehicle, where we are in India. Let's go for the little bit about the in brief about the what is the electric vehicle major components. If you as of now, and so many people are already I think aware of this. So the major components in any electric vehicle is first one is its electric traction motor and power electronic controller, DC to DC converter, thermal cooling system, batteries, charger, transmission, charging port, and traction battery pack. So let's see on individual. If you go for the in detail of this, like it will look like, go for this one. So the battery. What is the traction battery? Is nothing but here in electric vehicle, the vehicle motor is completely operated is powered by this battery. In pure electric vehicle, there is no combustion engine or the fuel tanks. This fuel let's come for, I will explain from in detail here. So this battery pack will be like this. We will place somewhere on the battery. Okay, this battery pack is connected to the mostly in plug-in electric vehicle on the with one bidirectional DC to DC converter. What it will do during the charge discharging process when the vehicle is running, so the power is flowing from the battery to the DC to DC converter, which is going to be step up or just purely DC to DC converter. This depends upon the battery rate. So once it's going to be here, then again most of the electric vehicles are the AC motors, right? So from after getting this DC to DC converter, the output is given to the traction motor through the one DC to AC converter. There it's converting this DC supply to AC and to run the motor. If you go for the plug-in electric vehicle, so to charge this electric vehicle, we require the external supply. So with this electric supply, we can get from the onboard charger or the different types of chargers are there. We have onboard charger, or the board like a home charger also. Right? So from this charger, we are giving to the one AC to DC converter. So which will convert the AC to DC because our batteries are the DC only. Okay. Then we'll use the one PF converter. Then we for step up purpose. Then after step up in the DC converter through the one DC bus, we are giving to this bidirectional DC to DC converter, and we will charge this DC converter will charge this battery pack. Right. This battery is contributing only for the traction motor, which provides supply only for the power supply to the traction motor only. But if you go for any electric vehicle, there is some other components also there, like lights, inside heaters, or some fans, right? For the purpose, they will use the one small auxiliary battery also, right? For this also, we can take supply from this one, or we can use the one auxiliary battery. So we can see, let's see, there is a different types of electric vehicles are available in market. So what are the types? We'll go some small brief. First one we can see is a fully electric vehicle battery. So in this fully electric battery, the total energy, whatever the energy is required for the motor is completely supplied by the battery only, right? So it will be connected like this. So one battery will be there, which is connected to the power converter to the electric vehicle to the transmission system. So there is other type of the electric vehicles are hybrid electric vehicle. In the hybrid electric vehicle, both fuel tank and the battery both will be present. Right? So IC engine and the traction motor are used to the propulsion of the vehicle. But the battery and the fuel used as a energy source. So in this hybrid electric vehicle also there is a different set of classifications are there. So in that one of is mild hybrid electric vehicle. In the mild hybrid electric vehicle, motor supports the IC engine to run the vehicle. Right? The market there Honda just hybrid electric vehicle is available. And another type is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. In the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, the external power supply is used to charge the battery. right? You can see here in the both diagram, this is a mild hybrid electric vehicle where the fuel tank and battery both are present, right? Here, the motor supports the IC engine to run the vehicle, right? This motor supports the run the IQ. Whereas in the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, the external power supply is used to charge the battery. And a similar way, this power converter and this motor is connected to the transmission, right, to the battery power converter. So we can directly connect to this one and here also. The another one is a series hybrid electric vehicle. So in this hybrid vehicle also different types. I saw that, told you mild hybrid vehicle, plug-in hybrid vehicle, and third one is the series hybrid electric vehicle, right? So this different types of electric vehicle is only depends on this where we are in which way we are connecting this traction motor, battery, and the fuel tanks. Okay. If you go for a series hybrid electric vehicle, in the series hybrid electric vehicle, IC engine acts as a generator and the motor is used for the propulsion of the vehicle. You can observe here how the architecture will look like for the series hybrid electric vehicle. So transmission system is connected to the motor, and this motor is controlled by the one motor controller, which is connected to the one power converter, right? The battery will supply the power supply to the motor through the power converter, and this generator IC engine, the IC engine is there. The IC engine is connected to the generator and to the power converter to the motor controller to motor, and this fuel tank is used to run the IC engine. Let's go for the another type is the parallel hybrid electric vehicle. Right? So as you can see, the fuel tank and IC engine is connected in parallel with the electric motor, battery, and the power. Okay. To propel the vehicle, the electric motor and the IC engine are coupled with the transmission system via drive shaft. So, okay. So another one is the series and parallel. Here, the series and parallel both are this kind of battery type of electric vehicle will provide both the functionality of the series and parallel functionality. But the main problem with this one is it's making more complex to control this kind of series and parallel hybrid vehicle. So in the market, is already some vehicles companies have manufactured this kind of series and parallel. There is a Honda Civic, Hyundai Sonata, Toyota Prius, Ford. So for so when we are going to selecting any electric vehicle, so battery is our main component. So it depends on battery only, the cost is going to be increasing or decreasing. If we go for more mileage, then we require the high rating battery. So let's see when we are selecting the battery of electric vehicle, what are the things you need to take care. So first we will see what are the technical requirements for the battery service. So in that electrical requirement we'll see. So we need to check the what is the voltage rate, what is the minimum voltage and what is the maximum voltage of the rating, and continuous load. When we are going to be running some, if you are going for some 100 kilometer, 200 kilometers, so how much of load we are giving on the vehicle, and intermediation load, that means pulse load or the average or maximum load, how much of the is produced, and on off conditions. So how much of time we are going to be on and how much of time we are going to be off. So these electrical parameters are you need to consider when we are selecting the battery. And another one is temperature and humidity. So different we have different kinds of chemistry batteries are there. We will discuss in further. But these batteries are highly sensitive to the temperature and humidity. So for that, you always need to take care of the what is the ambient temperature you are going to running your vehicle. This 30 degrees. So because if you can, for example, if you go for Canada or any some other countries, there the temperature is very cool. If you come for the India or African countries, their temperature is very max. So in the both the countries, we cannot run the same vehicle. Both the vehicle, same chemistry batteries cannot be give the same life in the both the temperature condition. So for that, depends upon the ambient temperature condition, we need to select the battery. And another one is storage temperature and humidity. So when we are not running any vehicle, so just we are keeping somewhere your vehicle, so there may be chance of its self discharge, right? And if its temperature is going to be very high level, then there is a chance of the blasting of this battery also. So we need to take care of that. So when you select in the battery, so how when you are, what is the storage temperature of that one? So you can store at which temperature this battery. With a high temperature also we can stable, or it's no problem, or with a low, very low temperature also no problem. Okay. Another one is charging condition. So we are going to be different types of charging methods are there to charge the batteries, right? The cycling charge and tickling floating charges, and how much of charging time you are doing, and charging temperature atmosphere. So when you are going to charging any battery, there is some heat will be generated. So how much of heat it can be variable. Okay, and life of the cycle. How many cycles the battery will give. Okay, and how much of time we can store this one. These things also you need to consider while selecting the battery. And another factor is dimension, mass, and shape. So if you are taking the very large battery, so entire battery itself is going to occupying your car. So there is no place for the passengers. Okay. So for the purpose, we require the small battery for high energy density. Okay. So during that process, you need to take care about the what is the height, what is the weight, and what is the mass of that battery. Because if the battery itself is increasing, having more mass, then the vehicle speed will be reduced. Right? And the other factors like atmospheric pressure, what is the mechanical condition, what is the safety precautions they are taking for their battery manufacturers, and price, what is the price, this is also very important. Okay, so let's go further in detail. So our main concept is the battery management. So our main concept is related to the battery management, right? So what are the types of batteries are available in present market? So we know that there is a two types of batteries. One is the primary battery, another one is the secondary battery. Primary battery is nothing but where the chemical energy directly convert into the electrical energy, like you are using in your torch. There we are just purchasing that batteries and we are using, and once it's going to complete discharging and throwing outside. That kind of batteries we are calling is a primary batteries, right? And secondary batteries. Secondary batteries are nothing but which we can charge and discharge, like your mobile phones, right? We will charge number of times based upon this life of the life cycles. So which in electric vehicle we are mainly using the so main batteries are so in the market right now we have a lot of different kinds of batteries: lead acid battery, nickel cadmium batteries, nickel metal hydride batteries, lithium ion battery, sodium sulfite, and redox flow batteries. These all batteries we are not going to using in the electric vehicle, but these are the batteries which are available in the present market. Let I will give you the which battery where we are going to be using. I will explain you. So when you are selecting any batteries, so first thing we require is power density. So how much of power is capable? We need to check. So if you take the very big battery and is giving only for the 1 kilometer of distance, then there is no use of that kind of battery, right?